So we're at that turning point. Either we transmute those emotions and acknowledge that we can live in peace, we can finally learn to love each other and move towards the thousands years of peace, from the Yuga era of thousands of years to the Golden era, the Golden Yuga, which is the era of awareness.
Hello everyone, welcome back to a new episode of the Spiritual Inspired Show. I am your host, Claudiu Murgan. For all the episodes, please visit spiritualinspired.ca or auraverse.network. My guest today is Mrs. Carmen Harra. Thank you very much for accepting my invitation.
My greatest pleasure. I congratulate you on the topic, on the idea of doing such kind of work. I mean, you want to build awareness, you want to raise awareness, you want to make people feel that they can be empowered if they have knowledge. So you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you very much. And I would like to start by asking you a very simple question, because many, many years ago, back in Romania, I used to watch you singing on television. You're part of a three-women band. And I would like to know if you had these type of qualities and spiritual inclination during those years as well, or it came to you later on when you left Romania and moved to the US?
That's a very interesting question. I want to tell you that back during my youth, my upbringing, when I was 5 years old, I drowned. So I had a so-called near-death experience that a lot of people have. And I remember seeing a light, and I saw myself going down the water, and my body was going down, and somehow my energy was directed into the light. And I saw some people that were inviting me to join them. But then I saw my father's face, which my father rescued me. So I had this experience that made me be extremely intuitive, extremely open to seeing all kinds of things that I couldn't explain. I was 7 years old when my father came to the school, and when he opened the door, I looked at him and I told him, I know my grandfather died, and that's why you came. So I started knowing things that already happened. So I surprised my family and the people around me. I was singing in Romania, and people were like online to talk to me and ask me about their life. I was 18, 19, I was a teenager. So I used to look at somebody and immediately pick up on their problems, on their pain, on their suffering, on what's going to happen to them. So that happened during my youth, during my childhood. So as I came to America in my 20s, I allow this to, and I wanted to find out where is this coming from. And one of the reasons I went back to school, I wanted to know the source of this knowing, the psychological impact that a prediction can make on people, how you handle this ability of the brain, what is intuition all about. So yeah.
Interesting. And I know that at that time, with the communist regime and the church approach to those who were having this type of capabilities, some people had to suppress their skills. Were you one of those as well, or you're just sharing with your family?
I was just sharing it with the people around me, and I even remember singing. Because I sang on my own. So I started as a teenager. I was like 9 years old, singing in Romania on stage as a child, as a teenager, and winning all the competitions. So the group singing, the Trio Express era, came later on, came probably 10 years later. But what I clearly remember is that while I was singing on my own, was many years before Ceausescu was killed. I actually told everybody at the theater where I was singing that I see Ceausescu being killed on a Friday. and I saw a lot of snow. So I describe how Ceausescu was gonna be killed many years before it happened. More so, I met Mr. Constantinescu, that was the president of Romania. I met him when he was a teacher somewhere at a college, and I told him, I said, Mr. Constantinescu, if I tell you one day you're going to be the president, you think I'm totally insane or crazy? And he said, absolutely, absolutely. How can I be president? And fair enough, many years, 20 something years later, he became the president of Romania. So these are episodes that I will always remember. I can never forget. And I have a lot of people witness those things happening and kind of trying to understand where is this coming from. But the religion back then, and even now, they condemn such things. And they are forgetting that actually the Bible is full of prediction, that even Jesus himself was a messenger, was a prophet, and he was a very intuitive person. He knew he's going to be killed. He knew who's going to betray him. He knew everything that's about to happen, and he allowed it to happen. So he allowed the lesson for mankind to take place.
Yes, and he also was a troublemaker, and we need these type of troublemakers these days to turn the face of people and the faith of people in the right direction, because only this increased level of consciousness will save us from where we are today.
Exactly. And I think that if people understand the power that they have, the ability of the brain to bridge the two hemispheres, the ability to break chronology, to go beyond the linear time, they can use this ability. It's one of the skills of the brain. Like Einstein used to say that intuition is a gift from God. It's something so extraordinary that everybody should pay attention and should use it. So we all have that gut feeling that tell us don't do this, or be careful, or take care in order to prevent something. And as I mentioned before, predictions are made since the dawn of time, and their purpose is to place a role in people's consciousness, to open, to raise awareness, to how should I say, elevate the human mind.
Yes, indeed. And Mrs. Harra, you often speak about the balance between destiny and free will. How do you define the interplay between what is written and what we actively create?
That's a fabulous question. So there are things that we are born to experience. There are lessons that we have to go through. So I learned this when I studied the ancient teaching of numerology. I realized that those numbers that are the language of the universe define the trajectory of your life. And when I studied psychology, I understood that actually Pythagoras and Plato, so they live by the same era, by the same time, the great Greek philosophers. And both of them actually were connected in a way, because numerology, for instance, tells you when, and psychology tells you why. So something that exists in our life that we have to go through, we need an explanation why is that happening to us, in order to be able to understand properly the lesson and learn from it. So a lot of people cannot define what's destiny, how they should proceed, what are they meant to do with their lives, and so on and so forth. So it's very hard to define, to draw a fine line between these two, because they are intertwined. So fate, destiny, and your free will is something that coexists. So when you understand that you are meant to achieve something, that you have a dharma, that you have a role, that you have a mission, then you pay attention to the circumstances that will be created, but you also have your free will to embark on that experience or to avoid it. So if you know you kind of meant to marry this person, then it's your decision whether you will do it or you not do it. If you know, okay, you meant to move to another part of the world, like I think I was meant to come to America, as I was meant to be born in Romania. So all of this, as I get older, all of this makes sense, but was also my free will to stay here and not to go back to Romania, you know. So because I wanted to know, and my intuitive mind guiding me in saying, stay here, there are other things that you need to achieve. And then you can go back, or whatever knowledge you gather here will be useful for you to share with other people, with the people from your country. And I always believe that people should pay attention to what is meant to be and know very well the trajectory of their life. And on the other hand, be careful with your decisions and be aware of the free will.
Yes, and I also believe that it was meant for me to be born in Romania and move to Canada very easily, very smoothly, in order to achieve what I have achieved so far on the spiritual path. I wouldn't have had the chance by staying in Romania to learn so much, meet so many wonderful people, write the books I wrote. And I think, again, it was meant for me to be here. And I want to add something else to just said. People should be aware of the cycles they are going into, the ruts, the daily ruts or the yearly ruts they are going into, and then they have to, like RUT, not the animal. So they have to be aware and ask themselves why this is happening to me. How can I change it? Who do I have to work with in order to shift this path to something that will benefit me?
Absolutely. So one of the major things in life that people should be aware, the number one law of the universe is the law of karma, the law of action and reaction to everything that you do. The universe responds to you. Everything you plan in the world, you know, in a way is reflected back to you. But another very significant universal law is the law of awareness. So if you become aware that every step you make has a bigger impact, that everybody coming into your life is a reflection of something, that there is something greater or bigger beyond your experience, then you, as I said before, you elevate your perception, you elevate your spiritual existence, and you can rise above, you know, the low level of consciousness, you know, because a lot of people live at the level of the ego, and that is the low level of consciousness. Even presidents, you know, live at the level of their ego. It's all about them. It's all about their achievement. Nobody has the right to contradict them. That's a low level. The ego is the low level. When you live at the level of the soul, and you live at the level of your emotional self, your emotional identity, when you're able to go on top of the pyramid, which is the level of the self, you know, when you are selfless, when you give yourself to others, when you give, you're here to give what you have to the world, you know, and you're here to learn every single day, to empower, to improve, to create, to heal, to love. So when you do those things, you know, you become that amazing version of yourself, you know, then life is a celebration. But only when you live at that level, you know, you can really celebrate life. When you're at the level of the low consciousness, all you want is stimulate, buy another property, buy another car, make sure you get the oil from there, make sure you get you get something. It's about getting, and actually we are just renting on earth, you know. We don't own anything here. That's the thing. People believe that, oh, God, I'm so rich, I'm a billionaire. You're not. Nobody's a billionaire. Nobody is a president or something. We just have an illusion of becoming something. It's still a lesson of life, you know. But I found interesting that the simplest people, the people that lived in the countryside, the people that the people who the priests, the people who are the monks, people who don't want anything, don't attach to anything, because whatever you attach creates pain and suffering. If you don't attach, if you free yourself, I'm not saying don't live a comfortable life. I'm not saying don't buy what you love, don't have the most beautiful house or car or whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying don't get attached. Don't attach, because the more you attach, the more you want. And the more you want, the more miserable you become. the more you accumulate, in the end, you don't own anything, you know? So you come to that realization. Why did I struggle every single day? I wake up in the morning and I fight to make more money to do that, when in fact, you know, I'm not owning anything. All I own is my action, my intention, the way I serve, the way I elevate other people, the way I do something good, and yeah, create good karma every day. That's why my first book was Everyday Karma, translated like I think 20 something. I just give you, I have one here, and it's in, I don't know, in Swedish or something like that. It translated 20 languages, coming from a woman that was raised in Transylvania, the northern part of Romania. You know, everybody heard about Romania as Dracula. That's all they know. But Transylvania and Romania go back to 500 years ago, to Wallachia, to a part of the world full of culture, you know, full of extraordinary magic. And Romanian people are magic to me, you know, they phenomenal, but they are so misunderstood right now, not to say so betrayed or belittled or something like that. So they like non-existent on a map, but in fact they built history through so many centuries. And I do believe that my idea of paying attention to your karma, it's a great idea. It's a great concept that everybody should think about it and consider it. Yeah.
Yes, you touch on so many amazing points. I agree with you completely. And going back to the ego related to the leadership or the presidents, I don't think there is one on earth which is not attached to his big ego. I've studied at length the concept of, chief consciousness officer. I launched this program last year with some experts, and we are trying to reach out to these CEOs and leaders and change their mind, go through some trauma exercise and removing this ancestral trauma and energy blockages, go through breathwork exercises just to open up their heart and their mind to new opportunities. And related to Romania, yes, we are being belittled, betrayed, and I am in contact with patriots. I mean, I know the patriot word is not a fancy one these days, and people don't like it anymore, but these are real patriots that really want to build up Romania from the ground up with no help from the government, just through their own resources. So we have to have patriots in every single country on earth in order for these countries to maintain their unity, their identity, which is being tried to be destroyed these days.